Hello. Welcome back to Two Cups Between. I'm Jordan, here with my best friend Sam.
Hello.
Sam, how are you?
I'm tired, but good.
Me too.
Yeah. This week, um oh man, this week was really trying hard to get me down.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um but I think today's Friday, so the last day of my week. So, um today it felt like it turned around.
Yes.
Finally.
I don't even want to say like I almost feel like it was the opposite for me because it didn't feel like the opposite. I
Mm.
was much more peppy early this week, but I was much more cranky early this week
Oh yeah,
too.
same.
I was
Yeah, I think
much crankier.
that really affected me.
Yeah, and I finally feel like I've mellowed out today, but then it was like just a tank in mood for
Oh
Friday.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
was
I felt the same way, like very irritated.
mhm.
Very unreasonably so. Like I could tell
Mhm.
I was being unreasonable. Um so I kind of just like made myself rest a lot. And then today, I think after all the rest, I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
I'm very unbothered by everything now, actually."
I'm
And
over it now.
and like even more so, like I felt like being nice to people, which
Wow.
sounds yeah, like I and not in the way that I think I've like an unhealthy pattern of mine is to like overcompensate and
Mhm.
be like kind of like uh go out of my way to be nice, but now it's just like, oh, in the moment I can tell what a person needs to hear or what just like what I can do for them really quick, and I
Mhm.
just really want to do it
Yeah.
in a very natural way, and then it's kind of like whatever.
Mhm.
Which is kind of, I don't know, that's kind of nice, but I only think, I don't know if it's because I'm so well rested, which is rare,
Mhm.
or what it is that did it, but that's how it was today anyway. I don't know how long withstanding that is. But
Yeah. I mean,
that was
that's
kind of my
good.
mood today. Yeah.
That's nice to be rested.
Yeah.
Don't
Uh
know her, but
I know. Well, and like should I probably have been working on stuff? Sure, but yesterday definitely I like got home after I was done with stuff and I was like I cannot do anything and I'm exhausted even though I've been sleeping fine. So I
mhm.
just slept for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Um woke up, Mercury's in Pisces now. So I slept through the transit, which
Yeah,
probably was really necessary. But
definitely.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. My week my week just started off bad and I think I was cranky about it for days,
Yeah,
you know?
right. I get it. I mean, I also worked the first half of the week. That was
Mhm.
my work week. So I was definitely crankier early
Right.
on. Um, even if I didn't want to be. And I tried not to be, but I was. I just couldn't like shake the cranky.
Was Tuesday the day? I don't know if you remember, but Tuesday was like a particularly bad day. I wanted to skip everything. I went anyway,
Hmm.
and then bad things just happened every time I tried to do something.
It might have been Tuesday. Tuesday
Yeah.
did kind of suck. I'm thinking about it now because I'm remembering like the kids' schedules for Tuesday.
Uh-huh.
It was bad. They were really annoying.
Yeah.
Babysitting was not good this week.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should clarify that you were babysitting.
Yeah, I
Because
realized I didn't say that. I don't
it
have
really
children. I was not. I was.
it
I'm a
sounds like you're
nanny.
talking about your own
No,
children. You're like the
I'm a
kids'
nanny.
schedules, and I was like, it sounds like you're a divorced parent. You're
I
like,
know.
this first half of the week is when I was with the kids.
No, I'm a nanny, and I worked Monday through Wednesday this week.
Yeah.
Oh man, the one good thing that happened to me this week is I started taking a B complex, a vitamin B
You
complex.
started taking vitamins because of me. Say it's
Because of
true.
me.
Because I suggested that you should, and you did it.
I started taking vitamins because I was like,
Oh.
wow, I've been eating nothing but broth and rice. Because food has been weird, okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel you.
So I feel like I haven't been eating well. So I was like, yeah, I should take some
I know.
vitamins.
I
But,
haven't been cooking very much, and I
mm,
was doing
hmm
a good job for a while, and I had plenty of time. Like,
yeah.
it wasn't that time wasn't the issue, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know, TMI, but I had a lot of acid reflux this week. I've had a lot
Is
of
acid reflux TMI?
I don't know. I don't know. No, I mean no, it's not. Not between us, but I don't know
Everybody
if
has acid reflux.
I know, but like a chronic problem. I don't know if it's chronic.
Everybody has acid
It just makes
reflux.
me feel very old. Isn't acid reflux a very like old thing?
It is for old
And then I
people. We're
tweeted
old.
about I tweeted about running out of the good Tums that I like.
Oh
But then I was
no.
I was embarrassed about it, so I deleted it. So
Why would you delete it? That's a perfect tweet.
oh my god, it was pretty funny. But then I was like, and no one had no one had interacted with it all day, so I was like, I'm just gonna delete this. No
Oh
one
my
wants to read
god.
your tweets about Tums being low in supply. It's the
That's so
specific
funny.
ones, the chewy
Hmm
ones,
Yeah.
and their assorted berry flavors. And they're not the chalky chalk.
Oh
Okay,
my
they taste like
god.
candy.
I want to know what everyone's favorite Tums are. I don't eat Tums.
Well, one
Um
time when we were on a trip, I found these like natural lime coconut Tums.
yeah. Oh, I remember
They
that.
suck. I still have them for
Oh
an
god, I
emergency
remember
for when
that.
I run out of good Tums. And
Yeah.
now I'm gonna have to eat those shitty, disgusting Tums all the time because I don't want to waste them. I'm
Oh
also
god.
I also want my chewy Tums.
I want my chewy Tums.
But yeah, I usually don't have um acid reflux is bad.
Mhm.
And it's very like Ayurvedic medicine, but like my heat has
Mhm.
increased. It's
Yeah.
hot as fuck here. I'm
Mhm.
hot during the night, kicking off my covers.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's not usual for me. I like to snuggle in a fetal position
Right.
underneath. I'm usually very cold easily inside anyway. Even though I'm in a hot place, I usually
Mhm.
wear sweaters inside. But this week and last week kind of it's just been hot. It's just been hot because it stopped raining. So now it's like hot, dry season.
Ugh. Yeah.
And my acid reflux is up. I feel like my skin is more irritated than
Mm.
normal.
Mhm.
All of those things. And I I know the cooling things to eat.
Mhm.
But all I want to eat is like spicy shitty
Of
food.
course.
Which only makes it worse. But I really
Yeah.
need some like cucumbers and berries and shit or something.
You gotta switch.
All I've been wanting is some grapes, but they're really hard to get
Hard to
here.
find.
Yeah,
Ugh.
or they're very expensive.
Mhm.
But I would love like something I would do when I knew my heat was increasing is eat just green grapes. The
Yum.
best.
I
But
love
yeah.
green grapes. Uh uh
But yeah, anyway, that's about my acid reflux.
Yeah, and I started taking a B vitamin this week, and just like I can really tell, I usually would take have been taking it around mid-morning because you have to eat when you take it.
Hmm.
Um so it's hard for me to eat like right when I wake up. I need to wait like at least an hour. But I have noticed my energy levels just being constant all day long.
Isn't it wild?
I'm a chronic fatigue bitch. I'm tired at
You
11 in the morning and
probably
then
need to
3 p.m.
you need to take iron too.
I
I'm
don't. I am not iron deficient. I
ever
have been tested for
have you
anemia. I am not
have you
anemic.
been tested after you stopped eating meat?
Yes, I am not anemic.
Hmm,
I
okay.
am a chronic fatigue
What
bitch.
about vitamin D?
I probably should also take vitamin D, but I
Yeah.
let me start with a B
Okay,
complex,
okay, okay,
okay?
okay, 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 okay. I get it. I
I
get it.
am also taking a multivitamin, so like
Okay.
I'm getting a little bit of some other stuff. I'm just like the
Okay, good.
only
Yeah.
pure supplement I'm taking is a B complex,
Yes,
which
yes,
has
yes.
vitamin C and zinc in it. So,
Oh, that shit will get you so lifted.
yeah,
like,
I'm pretty hype.
like
I'm not like hyper. I'm
no,
just like
it's very very
steady
good.
all afternoon
Yeah.
instead of crashing at 11 and 3 p.m. Like I'm awake. I could nap just because I want to,
Uh-huh.
but like I don't I'm not tired. It's
Right.
so nice. It's so
I'm
nice. I even think I'm sleeping better at night because I'm not like having these weird
that's
midday crashes.
wild.
I think like because like I'm getting tired now. It's like 10 p.m., but like I could lay down and be asleep in the next half hour. I don't know. Something has changed.
Yeah. That's good. That's
It's
good.
nice.
I'm laughing because I'm thinking of when I would have to do. I've only had to do this a couple times in my life, but when I've had to do a drug test,
Mhm.
and was worried about it.
Mhm.
Whatever. I won't go into details, but for whatever reason, I was worried about it, and so what I would do is drink like a shit ton of water, probably to a dangerous amount. So I don't
Yeah.
recommend this. Disclaimer: don't do this.
This is not
Um,
medical advice.
no, this is not medical advice, and I'm as a medical student, I can't give that anyway. Um, but I would drink a bunch of water. And you take B complexes because they help you like they basically make you urinate a lot as well.
Mhm.
Um, and you basically like urinate during the morning before your test, and you take a vitamin C. You keep taking vitamin C so that your pee is yellow because they will inspect it, and if it's too clear, they will
Oh.
be suspicious. Um,
Oh.
so so you're just giving them this highlighter fucking pee.
Interesting.
Yeah, and you're just so full of pee because you've been drinking and taking vitamins all morning.
Yeah, holy shit.
But you feel jacked for the rest of the day.
I actually love that though.
Yeah. But then you immediately have to have something salty because you've just had way too many fluids.
Wow, that's
Again, don't do
impressive.
this. Don't do this.
Things you learn.
Yeah.
Things you learn.
Yeah.
The more
Yeah.
you know.
Well, yeah, and the lesson I learned is to not put myself in a position to be worried about
Yeah.
doing this and I could just pee like a normal person.
Yeah.
But that's beyond the point. I was a different person back then. Um, now I'm a responsible medical student. So
Wow.
anyway, um so I'm glad we're focusing on our health this week. I
Yeah.
think I
Somehow.
I knew this would be a theme, and I was like, "Oh, really? Are we gonna focus on our health? All I'm drinking is ultraviolet, Monster Ultraviolet."
Yeah.
I barely had caffeine this week
I'm so proud of you.
because I was like, I really just feel like I can't handle this. Like, I need to detox my body from it.
Right.
I probably had coffee in the morning, like only really one day.
Wow. Was
Even
it
the
nice?
Well, I don't know. It was kind of like the middle of the, it was like the middle of the morning, so I was like, whatever, I'll have coffee. But then it was kind of after that I was like, if I don't need the coffee, I'm just gonna be a sleepy person this week.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
even when I had an 8 a.m. labs, they weren't that bad. Like I just got up and went, and once I was there, I did the things.
Yeah.
I did sleep a lot. Like I said, like I had to make myself sleep to get rid of this like terrible mood that I was in.
Right. Right.
But I think that was necessary. And if I was like drinking a bunch of caffeine, I probably wouldn't have gotten that rest.
Mhm.
So I'm glad I
Yeah.
did it.
Good. Little recovery week between your intense exam weeks.
I know. I did do well on my exam, though.
You did?
I did. I mean, all
Wow.
all we can hope for is to pass
Yes, we're
right
going for
now.
pass.
So I'm not shooting for the stars,
Mhm.
but I'm at least in a place where I'm not drowning, you
Good.
know?
Yeah.
Um, and now we're in anatomy, which I'm much more comfortable with.
I'm so happy you passed.
Thanks.
So proud
Thanks.
of you.
It was a fucking terrible, awful hard exam.
But you did it, it's done, and you
I
passed, and that's
know.
it.
I
That's
know.
it. Never again.
I well, I do have a cumulative
Blah, not
exam
cumulative.
at the end of my second semester. You take
Oh
like the
my
first year
god.
cumulative. Yeah.
That's cursed. You're supposed to remember things from the whole year.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. So
God.
people who are in their second semester usually start to study up on the first semester stuff too.
Learn all this brand new stuff and study last semester's.
Uh yeah. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of is what it is. Um
Ridiculous.
I heard that people get like ridiculous curves on that exam because so many
Oh,
people do bad. Oh my god,
yeah.
it's such a horror story. It's very notorious.
Mm-hmm.
It's a notorious exam.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, it's not an easy one, but it's kind of like something you have to go through. I think it's only the first year. I think the second year because like the last two semesters are so clinical
Mm-hmm.
that even if there is one, it's certainly not as bad. It's probably all like pharmaceuticals, which
Mm,
sounds bad, but now that I've done um now that I've studied drugs more, it's like, oh, you really just have to
mm-hmm.
like sit down and memorize them.
Yeah.
You
There's no getting
dedicate
around
you
it.
dedicate a day to be like, this is
Yeah.
drug day. I'm
Yep.
studying all the drugs all day. And then, yeah, I don't know, it sucks.
Yeah,
But
there's like no getting around it. You just have to sit and look at them
yeah.
and learn what they are.
But they get kind of drilled in,
Mm-hmm.
interestingly enough. But
Hmm.
yeah, so I started off the week, well, we had a holiday on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
thankfully. Um so I'm trying to even figure out what I did on Monday. I'm pretty sure I mostly just slept. I just slept
You
so much this
couldn't
week.
pay me to actually remember what I did every day
I
this week,
I really
so
don't
you
remember
really don't
Monday.
have to
I
remember.
was gonna say I watched The Last of Us, but I did that all day Sunday.
Mm,
So I really just chilled Monday.
good.
And Tuesday, so Tuesday was my terrible day.
Tuesday was a bad day.
Tuesday was a bad day. I like went to class. I thought my period was over. I had my period all this weekend. That's probably also why I've been so tired.
Mm-hmm.
But it was so bad this weekend, which was fine because I was like, okay, I'm chilling in bed. Like, what do you
Yeah,
want me to? I'm
I'm
watching
home.
Last of Us.
Right.
And um then Tuesday, I thought I was fine, and then I go to class, and like in the middle of it, I'm like, oh, this is a this is a terrible situation. Let me run away in the middle of class to fix
Mm-hmm.
this. Nobody noticed. Like, of course, no one notices when you think
Right.
everyone would be like, "What the fuck is she doing?" But
Right.
it was actually fine. But I wasn't fine. I was like, I'm upset by
Mm-hmm.
this happening.
Yeah.
Um, and I shouldn't have come to class. But it was good, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
participation. And then I had my group therapy, even though I wanted to skip because I started feeling physically bad
Yeah.
again. So I was like, I could just stay in bed, but I did go to therapy, and it was all right. We talked about religious trauma,
Oh
essentially,
no.
which doesn't relate to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um so while it was an interesting discussion, I like, and I mean that, like, I feel like I could try to think that it relates to me, but it really doesn't, just
Mm-hmm.
because of how I was raised.
Yeah.
Um which was an interesting topic of discussion because when I talked about like how my parents never forced me into religion,
Mm-hmm.
even though they were from two separate religions,
Right.
people were like, how does that even happen? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And it didn't start out about religion, but basically we were given a prompt. Our therapists were like, we don't usually give prompts, but just to get everyone to start a discussion, because I
Mm-hmm.
think we're quite a shy group, I guess, to
Yeah.
get started.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of them gave a prompt like, there's two of them facilitating. So they're like, how would you react? Or how would you feel and how would you react if you came into this group session and instead of us two who are facilitating this, it was your parents? who were
Oh.
facilitating this therapy group. Um, so people gave their reactions. There's quite a few of us who are immigrant children who
Mhm.
um kind of relate to one another, that our parents are not not emotionally mature enough to handle that.
Right.
So that is the first part of the discussion, and it was nice to hear people relate. But then some other people were talking about how like their parents only give biblical advice. Or conversely, there was someone who is very religious and she doesn't like that her parents give her only practical advice and not like more spiritual or biblical advice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then it started a discussion in between people about like being raised in religions,
Mhm.
and it just like went naturally from there. And I like, it was like teetering on the edge of heated, but I don't think it was actually people getting angry, but maybe it was uncomfortable to talk about.
Mhm.
And then when I was brought up, it was kind of like, yeah, religion was always cool, and my parents let me really explore and taught me about their religions, and I was allowed to become really invested for a few years in one and kind of stop and explain to them why I stopped going
Yeah.
to church or whatever it was,
Right.
or like why I wanted to start going to temple more or what I wanted to learn more about. And it was always like, it was never taboo. It was just like, okay.
Yeah.
Um, and so that was quite probably weird for people. And whenever I tell people that, they also think it's good, but like they can't even imagine
Yeah.
because of how they were raised.
Right.
So that I was kind of like, it started to feel more like an intellectual conversation instead of therapy for
Mhm.
me,
Yeah.
which is what I've been trying to avoid. So then at the end of it, I mean, now I'm looking back and I'm like, oh, it was still a good experience, Samantha, to
Mhm.
go and like listen to people and talk about their backgrounds and stuff.
Right.
So like get over yourself. But at the time I was like,
Mhm.
I didn't even need to go like I didn't even need to be here. This wasn't for me or whatever. All the
Yeah.
stupid angsty thoughts. Um
Is that the day you fell?
yes, that's the day I
Oh
fell.
my god.
That was the day I we got out, and our campus is very hilly,
Right.
and um I like there's like an ATM near the building where I go, so I did that, and then I realized like I really had to use the bathroom. So I was like kind of rushing down a hill to go, and I like trip and fall.
Oh my
Here's the thing,
god.
on a road, okay? And it's
Uh-huh.
nighttime, like it's dark
Oh,
cuz it's like 7 or
no. Yeah.
yeah, but it's like 7 o'clock, and someone was in front of me. Someone passed by me, and I was holding my water bottle,
Mhm.
and I like fall and drop my water bottle very loudly, and it spills.
Oh my
And
god.
I think when the person looked back, they thought I just dropped my water bottle to and was like crouching down to get it, but I fully
Yeah.
just fell
Oh
and was like
god.
bleeding.
Scraped knees and all.
It was so bad. It was so bad. And I was like crying cuz I was just upset more than it actually hurting. So I like slowly crouched down the hill, like waddling down with bloody
Oh
knees
my
to,
god.
to the bathroom. And I like needed the moment to like cry and recover and like process it and be
Yeah.
like, why is this happening to me today?
Right.
And then waited until people stopped coming in and out because I was embarrassed to like clean my wound at the sink.
Yeah.
And then I walked home.
Oh my
And
god.
then I properly cleaned my wounds, and then I got chicken tenders
I'm glad you got chicken tenders.
and baklava.
Yes. A little treat. Just a
Yeah, I
treat.
know, with my like sad waddle walk.
Oh my god. You poor thing.
And then the next day, I was in so much pain that I just laid it. I didn't go to class.
No, scraping your knees is actually the worst, especially as an adult, because it's like I have to do things and I can't move my legs.
Yeah, and
So,
it hurts when you walk or go upstairs when
yeah,
that's
any kind of
healing.
movement hurts,
Yeah,
especially the first day after. And yours were pretty bad. You sent me
I know
pictures.
they were
They
bad.
looked painful.
Yeah. Did you
You
like
poor
see
little
my
knees.
wounds?
I mean, I didn't like it because I didn't like that you were hurt,
I
but
know. My boo-boos.
thank you for sending me pictures of your boo-boos.
I'm glad I can send you and our other best friend just
Yeah,
bloody wounds.
it's fine. It doesn't
I
bother either of
I know,
us.
exactly. I feel like other people would not want to see it. And then the
Yeah.
other thing is, because I have issues, I have issues.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell my parents that this happened to me.
Oh no. Couldn't
So,
even tell your parents it
yeah, so
happened.
when they called, when we talked, they were like, "Are you doing okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm great. I'm in pain." Um, because I know they would worry so much if I told them I fell
Yeah.
down a hill
Mhm.
while I'm in another country. They're gonna be like, you, we're shipping you back. We
Yeah.
can't have this happen."
You're coming home right now.
Yeah. So I was having a lot of issues. I didn't even want to tell my sisters. I probably will.
Mhm.
The fucked up thing is, I did this in when I lived in Guatemala too. Is like
Oh my
I
god.
got food poisoning, but
Yeah.
I
Oh,
didn't
I remember
tell
this.
them. I didn't tell them until I recovered from
Yeah.
it. I was like, "Yeah, last week I had food poisoning, but I'm fine now." Haha. Um, and can you believe I almost did it when I got COVID here too? Because I was like, they're gonna
Yeah.
worry so much. I literally just got here, and
Right.
classes just started,
Mhm.
and I got COVID.
Everybody got COVID
But
over there.
thankfully, I told them
Good. I'm
because
glad
I
you
was
said
kind of
something.
worried. I was like, okay, this is a little more serious, Samantha. We do have to tell our
Yeah.
family we have COVID.
We do need to say something.
So I did it that time, but for my little boo boos, I did not.
Ugh.
Also, my parents are actually recovering from COVID right now.
Yeah.
They're doing much
Adding.
better, but
I'm glad they're doing better.
I did not want to tell them I fell and scraped my knees.
No
So,
need to add to their stress currently, maybe.
I guess, yeah.
Oh my god.
But that was like literally just the first real day of my week. Really set the tone.
Yeah, it was just bad.
It
Tuesday
was a
was also
bad
bad
day.
for my babysitting family. Like, everybody was just like in a horrible mood,
Oh
horrific
my
mood.
god.
You know, they already have poor home training. So the fact that like they were in bad moods on top of that was like unreal. And just everybody went to bed a little too late, like wanted to stay up, but it's like it's fucking Tuesday. We have to go to bed.
Yeah.
Like, you
Just
can't stay up.
agitated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a little intense in the house, and I
I
hated it.
I don't know how you deal with that family. I don't
They're
understand.
not that bad overall, but
Uh-huh.
it's like there are intense moments of like, this is not correct,
Right.
that I just have to deal with. So
I still feel like you've gotten accustomed to a lot of the terrible bullshit though.
I'm sure I have, but if I hadn't grown accustomed to it,
Yeah, you would kind of lose
what would
it.
I be doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Cuz when I feel like I only really saw them for one real day, like one evening.
yeah, I think so.
But even that I was like, see how like I don't see how you could bring a nanny into this. you know? I don't know.
Hmm.
Is that my Asian shame?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's hard. I don't know. I just feel like maybe I have some ingrained shame of like even having a nanny
Mm. Hmm.
and like having someone outside of the family being like the main person providing discipline for your children, you
Hmm.
know? Cuz I
I
do
mean, that's not how it should be, period.
no. Yeah.
No
And
matter what your cultural background.
right. Yeah. So I think that's where I'm kind of like I can't even fathom this right
Yeah.
now.
I am the number one discipliner in their household.
Yeah. Yeah, which is wild.
It's interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Makes for an interesting dynamic. Um, but it's fine. I'm almost done there. Got to
That's
get a new
good.
job.
Escape. I feel like your escape plan from there has been a long time coming.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm working on it.
I know.
Um that was bad. Wednesday was a little bit better. After like how bad Monday was, the peak being Tuesday, then Wednesday was like a little bit better. I felt like I could breathe again on Wednesday,
Yeah.
even just a little bit more. And yesterday was fine. Today was
Yesterday was
fine.
fine. Yesterday was fine.
Yeah, my mood definitely took a downturn today, just like in a very kind of I wanted to be a bit more sleepy than I had the opportunity to be today. I felt like I was busy,
Mm.
but didn't get anything done somehow. So
Oh, I feel
I
like
don't
you
know.
get you normally get frustrated for the opposite reason. Is that
Hmm.
is that
What do you
accurate?
mean?
I feel
Like,
like you're usually like putting a lot on your like I need to get done today list
mhm.
and you're too tired to do it. But you're saying today you wanted to relax more. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Just the
Yeah.
way my mood was, like how kind of sleepy I was, not really feeling like doing a whole lot. Like I was
Mhm.
actually going to give myself a break today because I have been truly so productive this week, even being in a shitty mood. Like just having constant energy levels all day has really helped me get a lot
Yeah.
of things done.
Yeah.
And I've been hosting a lot of co-working on my streams, so like having other people working with me has been just so effective for me
I
that
know, it's so
today I was like,
nice.
well, I'm out of things to do, I might as well relax. And I feel like I didn't really get to do that all that
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. I definitely have those days.
Yeah, like I felt weird on stream. I don't know, it was just like the vibe was off for me personally.
Mm.
Maybe not for anyone else, but I was like, I don't really want to do this, but I know that people like are waiting for me to start,
Mm.
and I even started late. So it was a
You
little bit of pressure to stream today, which is fine. Like, so I sometimes I just need the external pressure to do it.
right. I was gonna say you need to think of some like relaxing creative activities for you to do too, you know?
Yeah.
So that it feels
Yeah.
more restful instead of you being like, okay, well, what else do I need to work on? you know?
Right. Yeah, that's what
Um,
I was thinking. Like I tried to read a book, but I was too distracted during like
being on
doing
stream,
things.
being on
Yeah.
stream reading a book, yeah.
Yeah, I was a little too restless to do that. I think if I had had actually a physical book, that actually would have helped. But I was
Oh
trying to
yeah.
read like a book that I had started on my Kindle app.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like just trying to read on my computer screen was not it today. I spent way more time on the computer than I meant to. Like it was just like
Yeah.
not the day for me. I didn't feel cranky. I don't feel cranky. I'm just like a little almost like melancholy. It's all the Pisces
I
in the air.
we'll get into it, okay? But Wednesday for sure. Wednesday's the day I skip class.
Mhm.
And even my co-star app said to unplug or
Mhm.
something like that. Or I don't know, it always says something.
Mhm.
I often get unplug in like airplane mode.
Yeah.
And Twitch was just like not working at
Right.
all. I like it kept giving the like refresh the player
Mhm.
message over and over again.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was the internet here, if it was actually just Twitch, but and I was kind of like, all right, I guess I'm just not supposed to like be watching things constantly today.
Yeah.
And like not looking at a screen like I wanted to stay home for a reason
Mhm.
and all I do is look at freaking screens all day, so maybe I should just
Right.
give myself a break.
Right.
And I listened to some podcasts, I did some cleaning and just chilled. And I
Mhm.
was like, it is so it is not even that hard. I feel like I definitely have days where it's like I don't even feel the need to scroll. It's just like I automatically start
Yeah.
and then it's really difficult to put down.
Mhm.
But like if I just don't, like if I just don't or if I don't know, if I delete the apps, I can
Yeah.
be okay. Like I can do just fine.
Right. It's
Um
really nice to have just days where you completely unplug.
yeah. Yeah, it's nice. I wish I could have more days like that, but I can't skip class every week. I
Yeah.
can't do this every week.
Right. And now that I'm thinking about it, like I didn't stream on Wednesday because I was otherwise occupied, but
Right.
like neither did any of our
Oh
friends.
yeah, a
Like
lot of
you
people
didn't miss
canceled.
anything.
Yeah.
It was not the day for anyone. No one that we like typically care about was streaming on
Right.
Wednesday.
But like even me trying to put something on in the background just
Yeah,
to out of the habit
right.
was
Which
just
was
not
like, no.
happening. Yeah, so I was like, okay.
Great.
So it was good. It was good to have
Mm-hmm.
that break. But I
Good.
I also like wanted to put pressure on myself to do a bunch of journaling and like deep diving into
Mm,
stuff, but
mm-hmm.
it just like wasn't. I could not form words.
Mm-hmm.
Like even this practice I have of doing a tarot pull and writing an affirmation, even that's
Mm-hmm.
been very hard. Like I will just, and it's probably Pisces stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
um but I'll pull the tarot and I'll get all the abstract ideas and I'll
Yeah.
understand the message, but like trying to write it down in a little concise sentence for the day, it doesn't do it justice.
Right.
So then I just won't.
Yep.
So that's kind of
Just leave
how
it
I've been
there.
feeling, and I have a feeling I have a feeling with all these transits going into Pisces is like that's what we're gonna be in
Oh my
all the
god.
time for a while.
Yeah.
At least while Mercury and the Sun are there.
Yeah,
So
well, they're
at
both in
least
Pisces. It may be
yeah.
a little difficult.
Yeah. At least those transits are a little shorter. But we'll
Right.
talk about the grand things happening.
I mean, we might as well get into it now.
I mean, yeah. If you wanna talk tarot, that's pretty much all I have this week. I have a lot of social obligations tomorrow, and by a lot, I
Mm-hmm.
mean two.
2.
Yeah, but
2
I'm
is a lot,
very.
though.
It's like one of them is like a bunch of new people. We're going on a
Oh.
boat
Oh.
to watch the sunset.
Oh, bitch. That'll be
But here's
lovely.
here's the thing. Okay, so I have like a new friend, like a new friend. We're not like super close, but we talk and it's nice. And she won like this voucher discount thing for a boat ride during the sunset.
Wow.
And when she told me about it, I was like, "Oh, there's a lot of like boat tours and stuff here, as you
Mm-hmm.
can imagine. There's a lot of like party boats and
Yeah.
stuff like that." But when she talked about it, I was like, "Oh, a sunset boat, that sounds like really chill." But they are providing alcohol. It is like going to
Oh.
be alcoholic
Yeah.
boat and snorkeling,
Oh.
but I can't go snorkeling.
Okay.
Well, first of all, I have wounds,
Mm-hmm.
so I probably shouldn't snorkel. And I mean, even beyond that, I have another social obligation, which is a birthday dinner
Mm.
by someone who I was hoping wouldn't invite me to their birthday dinner. But she sounded
Oof.
she's I could tell that she was like nervous to ask
Yeah.
our like little lecture group round
Mm-hmm.
table. She did it like at the very end,
Mm-hmm.
and even someone else I talked to said like, "Oh, she skipped the first lecture. She probably only came to the second lecture to ask." And I was like,
Mm.
"You're making me feel worse, and now I definitely can't say no, and I have to go." And it's a whole thing,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to be excited about it. I mean, I like my group overall, so it
Yeah.
would
I
be
mean,
nice
it
to
will
hang
still
out.
be nice to go have some
Yes,
dinner
I
with
know.
some people you find mostly pleasant.
They are
It'll be fine.
mostly pleasant, and
Don't
you
get too
know,
litty on the boat, though.
yeah. I mean, I can't. I might die, and I won't be able to make it to the restaurant because I'll have to get a cab
Oh, God. Yeah.
um from there. So I'll be responsible. But I am kind of like, okay, well, that is not what I was expecting it to be, and I was not
Mm-hmm.
expecting to go to this dinner, and I figured this all out today.
Wow.
So just prepping my little introvert antisocial brain
Mm-hmm.
to do that. At first I was very overwhelmed, but now I'm
Right.
feeling better about it and like not as mad. I wish I wasn't wounded and had scabby knees.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Um cuz that concerns me a little, like being around and walking around, but I
Yeah.
just went out for dinner earlier with some friends and it wasn't that bad. I could get
Okay.
over myself. So,
Just take it easy, like on the boat stuff tomorrow, I think,
yeah,
and you'll be good to go.
for sure. But I will
You're
update
probably gonna be
you.
sore on Sunday.
I know I'm gonna I'm gonna be
Yeah.
so tired on Sunday.
Yeah.
Um, but I will update
Rest.
you on my social endeavors.
Please do.
And maybe I'll try to talk about my social endeavors in therapy so that it actually goes somewhere, and then I'll update you
Yeah.
on that.
Perfect. Do you want to talk about the astrology for next week?
Okay, let's get into it. So many things are happening in Pisces, it's overwhelming for me as a
Mm-hmm.
Pisces. Okay?
Yes. We'll mostly be talking about March 4th through about the 10th, like 1 week from recording.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's accurate.
Okay.
I I would say the biggest thing happening next week
Mm-hmm.
is on March 7th. Well, I guess
That's
two things.
Tuesday. Okay.
Yes. Tuesday. It's also the day of the full moon. So that's one
Lit.
thing. Full moon in Virgo, of course.
Hell
That's
yeah.
our
Oh my
day. That's our
God.
day.
That's going to be our day. We need it. The day after your birthday.
It's the day.
We
Um,
need it. A Virgo
um
moon? Mm. Love it.
terrible placement, but a
Terrible, but I
good
love
transit.
it.
Good transit.
Okay, go
I don't know if
sorry.
that's controversial. Hopefully they didn't insult anyone. When I say terrible, I mean difficult. It's a difficult placement and you have a lot of lessons to learn. Okay. I
It's
didn't mean it's
hard, especially during Pisces season with Mercury also being in Pisces. It's
mm,
very dreamy, non-committal.
mm,
Virgos want commitment, okay? It's just the
mm.
opposite of the vibes, but it will be good to help like ground a little bit. I think we're all falling into the dreamy trap. The like,
It's not a
a
trap.
little
It's an
wishy-washy.
opportunity.
Sorry. A Virgo and a Pisces talking about Virgo and Pisces placements.
It's not a trap. Okay.
Sorry. Oh my
That's just
god.
capitalism telling us that it's not okay to
Mm-hmm.
take some time to rest and to dream. Okay.
Okay,
How
but the Virgo moon is saying ground yourself a little
Yeah,
bit,
the
bitch. We
Virgo
have
moon is
planning to
saying let's
do.
deny all of our feelings and let's like
Stop.
be a perfectionist about how we're feeling and just tell
No.
everyone we're fine.
No.
What do you mean, yes?
Stop.
That's what it
No, no,
is.
no, 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 no,
Anyway,
no.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. This is all yeah, it's a bit. I love Virgo moons. In fact, the love of my life has a Virgo
Wow.
moon. He's a Capricorn sun, Virgo moon.
Are you going to talk about this right now?
No. I
Okay.
can't possibly. I can't possibly. But if you know, you
Anyway,
know. Oh,
Tuesday,
right.
full
Okay.
moon in Virgo.
So yeah,
Also,
Full Moon and Virgo also Saturn
oh,
moves into Pisces.
the first wobble into Pisces.
Yes, correct.
Oh boy.
It's our Saturn return. The
It's our
beginning.
Saturn return.
It's like the prologue.
Yes.
How do you feel?
A little scared,
Yeah.
honestly, a little terrified. So, that's cool.
I am also, but I feel like I need it.
I know I need it because I need help shifting in my life, right?
I need
And
help.
if I have some like I need help period. But if I need help shifting in my life, so I know like and whether you put a lot of stock in astrology or not,
Mm,
for me, at least having this like eh, external pressure almost
right.
will like I'll be like, okay, this is a time for me to make big changes. This is a time where I'm going to be forced to make big
For
changes.
sure.
So I might as well make the big changes, So I'm feeling a little nervous, but this is just the first wobble. It will pull back out of Pisces, then go back in at least one more time. So,
Yeah, and I think
like,
it's in like definitely in 2025 if I'm not mistaken.
24 or 25, one of those. Yeah.
Right.
Like, it will be solidly in Pisces. So, like, this is just a little taste,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
little sip of what the Saturn return's going to be like for us.
And it
And
will be
honestly, I really just need the push.
oh yeah.
And I'm pushing myself every day, but like, I need the energetic push as well.
Yeah, and what I was going to say is like it will be very global scale.
Yes,
Um
absolutely. It's not just personal.
I think for me in particular, because my Saturn is conjunct my sun. They're in Pisces, both of them. So I think something that I want to keep in mind is that I'm gonna get very like in me, like this is me, me, me. This is like me making these big changes,
Mhm.
but in reality, and like especially with what's happening in Pluto later in the month, which we'll talk
Mhm.
about, um, like these are gonna be big changes for the world
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Saturn stays in a sign for what, like around 2.5, 3-ish years
Right.
at a time. And so someone's Saturn return happens when they're around our age, 27, 28,
Mhm.
29. And it happens again when you're in your 50s.
Right.
My dad told me that, he was getting advice from his astrologer. His whole career shifted in his 50s.
Wow,
Um,
yeah.
so like he went off and did his own practice, and it was like just a huge shift for him, and that
Mhm.
happened in his 50s.
Yeah.
And that's not like a time where people think that like big shifts happen in your life. Like we're
Right.
ingrained to think that you're quite settled, but
Mhm.
that is kind of like the power of a Saturn return. And Saturn is also a very big part of his chart, which is why I think it
Mhm.
affected him even more.
Right.
um but anyway, so this will be our first Saturn return, and like the Saturn return of many people in our age group,
Mhm.
um where I am trying to I want to start unlearning that it's this big scary thing. Like I think
Mhm.
it's okay to be afraid of it because it is a big change and there's like a lot of unknown,
Mhm.
but it's meant to be very positive for your life as long
Right,
as you're
right.
willing to be flexible in those changes. If you're very resistant to those changes
Mhm.
and you refuse to kind of do that inner work, then obviously it's going to be difficult. But I think you and I both want to do that. Like,
Yes.
we are feeling like we need to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And we both like do that anyway, honestly.
right.
We take a lot of time to reflect and like figure out where we need change in our lives. So doing this on a grander scale with more energy behind us
Hmm.
is like right up our alley. And I
Right.
think not that like that guarantees that we'll thrive over other people, but I think it will be maybe slightly easier to take the lessons and the pushes in the
Oh,
directions we
definitely.
need to go versus other people who are not so practiced in that, but they'll find their footing too. It just might take some time
Definitely.
to see the push, like to see where they need to be turning their
Um,
attention or shifting their life.
like I know I mentioned this
Hmm.
in one of our previous episodes, but I was saying that when I was around 1920, that I was doing so much spiritual deep diving
Hmm.
that sometimes now I feel like I've lost that. I know I haven't lost that. I just haven't been able to get to the next level of it yet because
Right.
I've already done like a shit ton of work.
Hmm.
Um Especially compared to people our age, I think like when I hear things that people are concerned about and worried about, I don't want to think of them as trivial. They're definitely not trivial, but I've very much processed them and have had so much time in isolation to think about them that
Hmm.
now even trying to fathom that it's going to all be upgraded and like uprooted in a way is kind of like, well, holy shit, like how where else can this go?
Yeah.
you know?
Right.
And like just like how Mercury retrograde has a shadow period,
Hmm.
Saturn transits also do. And I'm pretty sure it's like I saw someone tweet about it that like your Saturn return doesn't even really settle in until you're 36.
Oh my God. What?
So then I'm thinking of like, so 9 years around,
Yeah.
right? Is that right? Nine,
Yeah.
8 or 9 years
Hmm.
of a kind of shadow period. And thinking back, like that is right around when I was really delving into spirituality for the first time, really.
Right.
Um, so that's wild to me that it's more of a much longer process than the actual
Yeah.
Saturn return.
Yeah. Wow.
Um, so in a way that's also comforting to me, like, oh, I've done all of this prep work
Hmm.
and like now we're here. And
Yeah.
there's no
Absolutely.
reason to really feel like you haven't prepared enough because you're gonna get the amount that you prepared for,
Yeah.
if that makes
100%.
sense.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to look forward to it as much as possible. And
Mhm.
I do feel like there's so many things in my life that I wish were different. And with all of these with all these things in Pisces right now, I think it's such a good opportunity to do that in such a seamless way. And like, I don't know if this is
Mhm.
because I'm a Pisces, but for me, like, a lot of people say that Pisces are like master manifestors. It's just that they
Mhm.
get so many emotions and so many personal relationship problems that kind of get in the way of that power, which is so true. Like, so easily
Right.
distracted. But
Right.
if I really wanted to focus in on a thing and manifest it, it'll happen like nothing. But the thing is to remove all of the doubt and the like
Mhm.
fear and the
Yes.
influence from other people,
Mhm.
especially that. To do that is like what the work is. But
Yes, it's so hard.
if I can really come from that place and be like, this is what I want, and like act like I already have it,
Right.
it just happens.
Right. The one
And
time that I manifested something,
yeah.
I had to work very hard to let go of everything, of
Yeah.
all of my expectations. I was like, this job is perfect for me. It's
Mm,
a shoe in for me. It was manifesting my like big girl job that I've had. And
yes.
like, this is my position. And like, and I got it. And the wildest thing to me was that I was not the first candidate. I was not the one they initially offered the job to.
Oh yeah.
So the fact that I still got it, like I was the second string pick and it was still my job.
Yeah. It was yours.
It was mine. But
Yeah.
it took a long time to like get, let go of all the things my parents were saying to me about
Mm,
getting a job that's better than the one I had and like, all of that like negative talk that we integrate into our own inner monologues,
mhm.
in our dialogues. Um, and it just like it took a lot of effort and a lot of like making peace with where I was at and how it was okay.
Yeah.
Where I was at was fine. But this job was made for me and it's mine.
Right.
So it just took a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that's such a it's just so Piscean to do that. Because like if you think about
Yeah.
it, I saw someone say that they don't really believe that Neptune is a good ruler for Pisces.
Mhm.
Because if you want to talk about planetary rulers, technically Jupiter rules Pisces.
Mhm.
I mean, Jupiter rules Pisces. I don't have to say technically. But
Mhm.
since we've started using Neptune or utilizing Neptune,
Mhm.
people also say that Neptune is a ruler of Pisces. To me, Neptune is that process of breaking everything down and like
Right.
cleansing everything.
Right.
And it's very otherworldly because it's so
Yes.
unattached to these things that we're worrying about in
Absolutely.
our fucking society. You know, we
Mhm.
live in a society. Like
We live in a society.
Neptune is so beyond that. Like we
Right.
say Aquarians are like the aliens, right? But it's like
Right.
Pisces are like it's beyond alien.
Pisces are ethereal
Yeah,
beings.
it's just like
They exist
completely
beyond this plane.
yeah, it's not even in this universe. It's in like a different realm
Yeah.
where like none of this shit matters. And it's
Exactly.
all just purely your intention.
Right.
And not even your intention to get like accolades,
Mhm.
but your intention to like feel a feeling, you know?
Mhm.
So that's to me how Neptune connects to Pisces. And then
Right.
Jupiter is like the fucking fairy godmother planet.
Yes.
It's like fairy godmother and like flamboyant gay uncle who like
Yes.
likes to
Oh
give
my
you
god.
witty wisdom and
Exactly.
just give you the things that you want and encourage you to do whatever you want.
Mhm.
So those things combined are what makes a Pisces placement.
Mhm.
And the problem is that because Pisces has those things, like they are so sensitive to everything around them and just absorb it like a sponge.
Yeah,
So it's
absolutely.
the cleansing process that's super necessary to do
Mhm.
anything useful in Pisces season.
Yes.
so so yeah, that's the issue. So like the sleepiness is necessary. That is telling you that is the rest that you need,
Right.
which is very frustrating and it's not possible all the time.
Mhm.
Um
Absolutely.
it just doesn't align with what most of us do. Like I would love to have I was I was talking to people about being a digital nomad,
Yeah.
cuz I kind of hate that term, but like
Mhm.
it is a thing.
Can
And
you
just
describe what a digital nomad
oh,
is?
sure. So a digital nomad is this kind of this term of what people are saying of like you work at home. I think most of these people are content creators.
Mhm.
But you could also just have like a very flexible work from home job. And then because of that, you decide not to settle down in any place because you can work anywhere in the world.
Right.
And you travel from place to place and you stay in places for temporary periods of time until you're ready to move on. So these people call themselves digital nomads because their work is all digital.
Mhm.
And they're claiming to be nomadic, but I have issues with that term being
Right.
tossed around.
Right.
But I mean, I understand the sentiment, so I'm not like super mad at it.
Mhm.
Um, but like, totally would be the dream, regardless of the term.
Yes.
It would be like honestly the dream to just live
Same.
somewhere different
Yep.
whenever you felt like it.
Yes.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about that the other day. I was like, how can I manifest that lifestyle as well? It doesn't
H-
seem possible
How do I
with what I'm
finish
doing.
med school and succeed,
Yeah,
become a doctor, and then also become a digital nomad?
yeah.
Hmm.
I probably wouldn't be a digital nomad. It would be a little more earthly,
Yeah.
aka a normal nomad.
Mhm.
um, but just being able to do work in different places and not be attached to one.
Yeah.
But like what I was trying to say is that a Pisces manifestation is really taking something that does not seem possible
Mhm.
and bringing it down to earth. That is very much like what a Saturn Pisces
Right.
is like Saturn being the strong foundation, very earthly,
Mhm.
which is ironic. Saturn's not earthly, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
It's very
absolutely.
it's very much about building foundations and building structure
Right.
and practicality.
Mhm.
It's what rules Capricorn.
Yeah.
It's what rules Aquarius, and even Aquarius is about like boots on the ground work for the
Very much
community.
so. Mhm.
So, and Pisces is this otherworldly other realm. So you're bringing your ideas from there with
Mhm.
your very pure intentions and pure feelings you want to feel, and this pure like you wanting to share those feelings with the world and bringing it down into actionable steps to actually do it. um so I think it's just going to be a wild time. Like if you think now that the jobs that are being created like content creators are
Right.
so different and very new age, like
Mhm.
we can't even imagine what's about to happen
I know.
is what
Oh my
I
god.
think.
Right.
And with Pluto going into Aquarius, it's going to be even more so.
Yeah, we have a little
Like,
time before that happens though.
yes, later in the
So,
month. But I think that them happening together is just going to be
mhm.
so. Our ideas about how jobs are supposed to be
Mhm.
is just going to shift like immensely.
Right. It's
Immensely.
This is just a huge um transitionary time for everyone really.
Right.
For regardless if this is your Saturn return or not, like this is huge. Um what else is happening next week? Anything else
So
big?
that is the biggest transit, honestly, happening
Right.
next week. Let me
Honestly, that
see.
happening on the same day as a full moon in Virgo is kind of lit. Is it not?
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot happening on one day, but it's like exactly what you were saying. Like, take all of these cerebral, out of the box ideas that you've had, that you're having, and make them reality. Like,
Right.
ground them in, center yourself, ground these ideas in your being with the Virgo moon, and like Saturn will help you build the foundation to reach them. Like, and Pisces season, I've literally been saying this all week because I did a tarot reading for someone, but it's like Pisces season is the perfect time to plan. Take this time,
Yes.
write down every single idea you have,
Not
put it
necessarily
on a
to
piece of
act.
paper.
Not necessarily
Exactly,
to act.
exactly. Just write these ideas down, look at them, consider them, then refer to them again in Aries season, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Let's pick it back up next season. But this is just like the time to let your creative juices flow. Like, you I don't know. I've been really off my journaling game, but like this is the time where you should
Oh,
be
for sure.
just writing shit down. Like anything that comes to
It doesn't
mind, your
have to make
feelings.
sense.
Exactly. It
It
doesn't.
won't.
Right. Like, what do you want from the next 5 years? Write it all down. What do you like? What kind of, if you're someone who's into content creation, like, what do you want to create right now?
Right.
Don't do it. I would not say act on this at this moment, but write all your ideas down because they'll fuel you for the rest of the year. Like, this is the
Definitely.
time to be working on the things you want to plan going forward.
Definitely. Although it's funny you say that because I have been seeing a lot of astrologers saying just put stuff out there. Like
Mm-hmm.
but I think that's specifically talking about because I know this is true for me.
Mm-hmm.
Is that like a lot of us who haven't entered that content creator space yet
Mm-hmm.
have had ideas, and we know
Yeah.
there's things that we can bring that are unique,
Mm-hmm.
but we get in our heads and say like no one's gonna look at it or like no one cares or whatever, the
Right.
imposter syndrome. So if that is something you've been dealing with for a long
Mm-hmm.
time, you're gonna have the most creative inspiration right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is enough to motivate you to just put it out, you can put it out, but like you don't have to feel pressure to.
Yeah.
To me, the transitions are like Aquarius season. We're all seeing all of the things that we know that are wrong
Mm-hmm.
in the world. Um and like probably getting quite bogged down from it, like what we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely.
Um and we're discussing it with each other, and we're probably getting very heated about it. We're getting we're seeing the things it's being pointed out to us what we're passionate about actually.
Mm-hmm.
And like what we think our purpose is. And then Pisces is when we get inspired with ideas of like a better world or just like how things can be improved, not being naive to the bad things that are happening, but seeing
Mm-hmm.
like, well, what am I going to do about it? What is this stirring in me? And
Yeah.
then Aries will be like the driving force to get those things done.
Absolutely.
So that is like a natural transition, but definitely I think later Pluto will support us just putting content out there.
Yes.
And yeah, I think a lot of things with technology are going to be changing. The way that a lot of social media works, or like the way that we consume it, is probably going to
Mm-hmm.
change.
Mm-hmm.
Just things that we can't even imagine
Right.
imagine yet.
Right.
And I don't think it's metaverse. Like
No,
I don't
that
know if it's
no.
metaverse, but probably things like how how the algorithms start working, or how we start viewing content, or what's being popular, what's going viral. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's going to shift a lot, um coming up for
Yeah.
next years, like I'm talking like long term changes. So
Right. But just this next week is
a taste,
a
just a
taste of what's
taste.
coming up.
Like Tuesday's going to be big, and
Yeah.
that's really the main transit for that.
Mm-hmm. Everything else is pretty stable, right?
Stable is an interesting word.
As in, nothing is changing
Yeah,
in a big way.
nothing is changing in a big way. Um, I will say
Pisces season is never stable.
no, yeah, stable. Yeah, that's why stable is an interesting word to use alongside Pisces. Anyway, the 11th, I see Venus sextile Mars, which is a very good transit, but it's not an exact sextile. It's just like a
Hmm.
light sextile. Um, and we've been talking about like these transformations with relationships. I
Hmm.
think that can be a good day. The 11th, I believe, is a Saturday. Correct me if
Yeah,
I'm wrong.
it is.
Um, so like a lot of things. Again, another Pisces theme is learning about boundaries
Hmm.
and that can be with any relationship, but especially romantic relationships, friendships as well, especially if you're dealing with many friendships or many family members and
Mhm.
feeling like you're not able to wisely delegate your energy to everyone.
Me all the time.
Especially in a season where you're meant to be more introspective and kind of getting rid of those influences and seeing what inspires you. It can be difficult to feel like you need to give all this time and energy to other people.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't have the perfect answer for that because I'm a Pisces. I tend to just shut myself out, which isn't a healthy reaction either.
Mm,
And it definitely is a reaction where it's just like gotten to a point where it's so bad and I need to spend that time away.
yeah.
Um, but that is definitely a big theme here, so that's something to keep in mind when you feel like you're saying yes to things out of guilt, which is something I do a lot. And
Mm,
you know, see how it feels when you are helping someone out. Do you feel like you're going out of your way that it hurts you, or does it make you feel better, or does it feel like you have enough to give and it's almost like excess that you're giving away?
oh
Um
no. Mhm.
yeah, rarely.
Mhm. Mhm.
Rarely, but sometimes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um yeah, so just monitor that give and take relationship with people. And I think Venus and Mars having a sextile is usually quite harmonious for especially
Mhm.
romantic relationships, but any relationship dynamic you may have. Um so yeah, I think it'll be a good week. I'm thankful that there's not a bunch of ridiculous transits happening when Saturn goes
Right.
into Pisces.
Mhm.
Um I don't know what it's going to be like with the full moon happening at the same time. That sounds very intense, but I think we'll have the rest of the week to settle into it and
Mhm.
see what's happening.
Yeah, and
Um
maybe reflect a little bit
for
on
sure.
what you've been feeling throughout the week.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm excited.
I think it'll be interesting. We'll see.
Yes.
What have you been consuming this week, media wise?
So, I will
What you got?
say I haven't watched much, but this
Hmm.
weekend I finally binged and caught up on The Last of Us
Hell yeah.
and sobbed.
Yeah. That show is not for me.
Yeah, too
Simply
scary.
because it's like, yeah, it's a little too intense for me.
Yeah.
I'm a bitch baby is what I call myself. So
So are you scared by just like the goriness, or is it the
no,
theme of it?
it's not even any of that. It is the fact that there are jump scares and there are tense moments. I
Oh,
don't like it. Period.
I'm
That's
trying to
it.
think.
I'm very easily
Frightened.
frightened.
Yes.
Yes. I
You are.
love adrenaline. I am not
Uh-huh.
afraid of like roller coasters or rides or like I don't really want to go skydiving, but that's probably something I could work up to, you know? But like I don't like moderately scary shows. Like
Okay.
or games or any kind
Yeah,
of
I was gonna
anything that's
say,
kind
so
of
you
scary.
haven't watched it either.
I have seen the first episode and I had to leave for the beginning of the first episode.
For the beginning.
Yeah.
When they're just discussing the
No. The beginning of the first episode, like the whole thing that leads up to what is then considered
Oh,
present
okay.
day in The Last of
Oh, because
Us.
it's so tense. I
Yes.
see. Okay, I understand. Because you're right.
We're not spoiling anything.
No, we're not spoiling anything.
We're not trying there's no need for like a spoiler alert or anything.
No, we're not
Just
gonna say
like
anything. I'll keep it vague. I well, I will say, if you ever muster the courage to
mhm.
watch it, I think it's incredible. No, what I meant to ask is, you haven't seen someone play the game, like you haven't seen a full playthrough
I've seen
either.
parts of it and I hate it.
Okay, great. Okay, great. To me, I think comparing it to watching a playthrough, I have not played it myself because I don't have the consoles.
Right.
But it is a game that I would love to play. I think it's just an incredible narrative.
Mhm.
Um it's because here's the thing, like, I think a zombie apocalypse seems cliche, but the way that it's done is
Yeah.
just it's just so good. Um and I always love seeing like really intense shows and like how they're trying to showcase like the human condition and like what they
Mhm.
think humans would do in these situations.
Mhm.
Like that to me is like a really nice trope or whatever you would call it.
Right.
So it portrays that really well. And I also think like compared to the game, because the game you're like it's very objective based and you're kind of like trying to survive. The show was able to portray like the apocalyptic nature of it very well, especially they like made it more global. They showed different countries. Um and I don't know, like it just felt more overarching and like global. So that made it much scarier cuz it's like much more real or much more realistic. And they also took very small parts or like characters from the game and fleshed out their stories so well that it's like super impressive. Um so that's essentially what I thought of it. Obviously it's still going on. And I'm excited to see where it's going to go, but I just think they're doing a really good job. I also said that it's very diverse and not in a performative way, but in kind of a very natural way. And yeah, it's just been so impressive. One of the characters, Sam, which is like a very loved character, was played
Mhm.
by a deaf black boy, and he's gotten like so much like attention from it. He did an amazing job, and the character's not originally deaf, but the
Mhm.
way that they wrote the character was just so good. Like I don't know, it's just very impressive. With regards to like diversity casting.
Yeah, that's what I've heard, that it's just amazing. Everybody's pretty thrilled with it overall. Which is great. I'm just glad that people are getting something out of it, like getting what they wanted out of it, I
Definitely.
suppose. Because it's such a beloved game and franchise. Like, and I've never heard anything but it's some of the best storytelling in a
Oh,
video game,
definitely.
period. Um, Even if the games are like shorter or whatever, like there are things lacking, just like there's no game without um that is without critique,
Mhm.
but like it's a really great game and just an incredible
Mhm.
narrative. So I'm glad this show is was done, created with care and with like diversity of casting in
Yeah.
mind, with diversity of world, um and like I don't know. It was really cool to watch that first episode, but it's just like not something I can sit through
Right.
willingly, and that's that on that for me. I'm really happy everybody else is
Yeah,
liking it though.
yeah, yeah. It's great. I mean, because I think portrayals of things that have already gotten such a huge fandom make people very nervous.
Mhm.
Because, like, how is this
Yes.
going to be portrayed to the mainstream, essentially? You know?
Mhm. Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
it
Yeah.
was the same thing with the M. Night Shyamalan Last Airbender. Because that's
Oh, that
what
was
most people
sad.
think about now. Or not most, but, like, people outside of the
Mhm.
fandom of Last
Yes.
Airbender, if you talk about
They'll
it
be like, "Oh, that really
yeah,
shit M. Night
exactly,
Shyamalan movie."
exactly, which is, like, so sad. And so I
Yeah.
mean, that live action is also happening, but the creators of
Mhm.
Last Airbender dropped out of it, so that also
Yeah,
makes me
the Netflix
nervous. Yeah.
version. But then the Airbender
Yeah.
Studios, whatever they're called now, they're
I
doing
mean,
their
yeah, that's
own
gonna be
stuff, which I'm
fantastic.
very
For
excited for.
sure. But,
But
yeah,
yeah.
like what I said, like, when a fandom, I don't know if it's a niche fandom, but, a more nerdy
Mhm.
fandom, when they're
Yeah.
when whatever they like is having that adaptation that's gonna be more have a bigger platform,
Mhm.
I think people really care about it. Like, they're very
Yes.
invested. So it must be a lot of pressure to do something like that, but they're doing an amazing job and people have been very happy with it. So I'm also happy.
Mhm. Good.
And I didn't get to really watch anything for the rest of the week, to be honest, but that's been really good. I'm glad I have something to look forward to on the weekends to watch with friends.
Mhm.
So yeah. What about
Very
you?
good.
What have you been? listening to or watching?
I have a small handful of things. I am a nerd.
What?
So I know. So this week, something that's been really like occupying a lot of my attention, bringing me a lot of joy, is The Sims 4. Um, I love The Sims, but there's a new Sims 4 expansion pack coming out soon called Growing Together, which is basically a Generations, if anyone is familiar with that pack from The Sims 3. But it's like a ton of family gameplay, which is like all everyone's ever wanted in The Sims 4, but has been severely lacking. And there's a new update coming out the same week, just a couple days before this expansion comes out, that is adding a new life stage to The Sims. It's going to be an infant life stage. So it's just like we're getting
Little
babies that are playable.
babies.
Yeah, we're getting family dynamics, like sibling relationships. You'll have relationships with your extended family, like, which is just unheard of in The
Yeah.
Sims as it is now. Like, you've no connection to any of your family beyond the people that live in your
Mm.
house in The Sims as it is. But with Growing Together, there will be so much more family dynamic, family interaction. You can have tense relationships with people,
Oh my
jokester
god.
relationships. Like, it changes the way the Sims interact when you're not playing with them, like, the things they do when you're just
Right.
watching. It's going to be so good. I'm very excited. I mean, I hope it's going to be so good. I'm very excited for it regardless. Then there was a Sim Summit today that was like a 2-hour gameplay demo essentially, and it was just very cool to
Yeah.
watch. There's a lot of good
I
stuff
I mean,
coming
it's
out.
interesting because like to add in all of those, like what you're saying, the family dynamics and like um
Mhm.
the relational aspect of it, like they must have been
Mhm.
working on that for so long to be able to get
Yeah,
all
this
of that.
this pack has probably been in development for a long
Yeah,
time. Um Between adding a new life stage and then a new game pack expansion pack that has all of the shit in
that's
it.
awesome, dude.
But it's really exciting. And another game that's been bringing me joy, um, again, I am a nerd, a little bit of a
Yeah, we
weeb,
need these.
is Genshin
I was
Impact.
gonna say we need these disclaimers, by the way, in case you couldn't
Yeah.
already tell.
In case you didn't know. I love Genshin. I cannot recommend that anyone play it. It is a gotcha game. I love it though. The story has
Oh
been so good. It's so fun to play. I love Genshin
no.
Impact,
So is it
but I cannot
is
recommend
it
it
a
to anyone.
gotcha game if it's worth it, or do you not think it's worth the money spent?
Well, you don't have to spend any
Yeah,
money.
I
Let
know,
me be
but like,
clear.
be realistic.
Right.
You know,
I think it's worth it. For
okay,
me,
but
it's
are you
worth it
speaking?
because it brings me a lot of
Yeah,
joy.
are you speaking from the perspective of an addict, and is that necessary to
I
enjoy?
would not say I'm an
Oh,
addict. Oh my god.
okay.
Oh my
Okay, you don't think you
god.
have a chronic gambling problem from Genshin?
No, I
No,
definitely
I know
don't.
there's way worse than you, and we don't have to say any names.
No, I am not a Genshin whale. I am merely a
Oh
dolphin, which means
my
I pay for like
god,
very small things.
these
Um
terms. Crap.
I know, aren't they funny? But anyway, there was a new Genshin update this week as well, so that was just really exciting.
I mean, I love the
And it was a lot of
soundtrack
fun.
is beautiful when you're playing
Yeah,
it.
the music is incredible.
So good.
It's really, really impressive. They come up with like 100 song soundtracks for all of the big patches, and they make new songs all the time. Like, the music is really, really good in Genshin.
Yeah.
The story has been really fun lately. Like, the writers are so much better than they used to be. The story is much more fleshed out. There's so much cool stuff happening because we're kind of reaching a midpoint in the
Mm,
story. So a lot of things are coming up. Like, we just had a new main story quest called an Archon quest where like it answered a few questions, but it brought up like 30
nice.
more.
Love it.
So it's like, but it was like so good that way that you're just like
Yeah.
invested. And it also helps that I have a number of friends who are very much into this game with me. So I have community around it, and we like talk about it, talk about theories, talk about the new characters coming out, like all that kind of stuff. So I love Genshin,
I know.
but I cannot recommend it in good
You
faith.
know I would love to, but I know. I know that I do not. I
Mhm.
simply do not have the time, and I just don't
Yeah.
think, me calling you an addict and saying that you have a gambling problem is me just projecting that, because I know that I could easily become that. Um
Yeah.
and like, even if it weren't for money, but I would just like spend too much time. Um it
Yes.
would be such a good procrastination tool for
It's an
me.
incredible procrastination
So,
tool. Truly, it's so good. Yeah, and I totally get that, which is why I cannot recommend this game in good
right.
faith, but it is a great game.
Yeah, I think it's just hard because,
It's
like,
great.
usually when I know that I won't be able to play a game, I can just, like, watch a playthrough, but Genshin is so
Mhm.
everlasting
Yes.
forever and ever. And
Yeah.
it being, like, open world is also, like,
Yep.
you have to just be in it. You're
Mhm.
in the
It's
world.
hard to watch playthroughs. I mean, you technically can, like, watch people play just the Archon quests, but it's, like, not easy to
Yeah,
watch just the story of this game.
exactly.
Um, but yeah, it's just such a fun time for me. And right now is pretty exciting because of where we are in the story and
Mm.
stuff. But um, that's my really annoying plug for the week. But then,
Just plugging Genshin Impact
uh,
as if they need any
yeah,
advertising.
I know exactly. They should be sponsoring me. Okay. Ugh. A song that a friend showed me last week that I've just been very into this week. It's called Nehu by Chon, Eophil, and Masego.
It's a good one, and I
Very
love
good song.
Masego.
It's super vibey, just like it makes me happy without being too high energy. Very good. A quick shout out to Dijon as an artist. His music has been carrying me for a while now. Like since last
Mm.
summer, I've been on Dijon, and it's just like music that is making me feel really good. Like nostalgic for a relationship I've never had. Like
Love that.
wow,
Oh,
like the
not
feels.
during
It's
Pisces
very
season.
Pisces season.
Oh
Very Pisces
no.
season. Loving Dijon again. And my final plug that you are also excited about is a new Mac Air song
Oh
that
my
came
god,
out
I
today.
cried.
Um it was it's a beautiful song. It's called Again. It will
I
emotionally
know.
destroy
Yeah, I need to
you
listen to it again.
in about 2 minutes. It's so beautiful. I've been fiending for new Mac Air's music.
So where's the
I
album?
love him. Probably this
Where's
summer
the
for the
album?
album,
Yeah,
you
I know.
know?
Summer does sound correct. That
Yeah.
does sound right.
If you don't already listen to Mac Airs, you
Like, what are
should.
you doing?
Everything we've talked about today will be linked in the show notes as always. But like, if you don't listen to Mac Airs, I'm just simply going to link his
You can
Spotify
listen to
page.
any song. You
Listen
can
to the
listen to
whole
every single
thing.
song.
Pick one. It's good. Okay.
Pick a song and it's good. Okay, it doesn't
He's
matter.
so
No bad
talented.
songs. No
Truly, no
skips.
bad songs. Um, he's not. I don't think he's signed to any like big record labels. He's very much
Independent.
on an independent
Yeah.
artist grind. So just the fact that he's able to produce the quality of music that he
True. That is very true.
is impressive.
I
Um
would,
and like, anyone can, but like he is extremely
yeah.
good.
And I mean, his projects take time, and I think that's probably why. Um
Yeah, he doesn't have an industrial
yeah,
team,
yeah, yeah. He
producing his
has
music.
people around. Like, he
Mhm.
has a really good drummer. Is it Chris Anderson? Is
Mhm.
that his name?
I think
Yeah,
so.
the drummer's really awesome. Um he collabs, like, his collabs are also really good, and
Yes, they're super
you
good.
can just tell he just really loves the music. He's
Yeah, he's so
and he's
talented.
so
His voice
young.
is wonderful. He's so young. His voice is incredible. His vocal control is incredible.
Yeah.
If you are a singer or know anything about singing, like the way he sings is incredible. It's
Mm.
beautiful. It's careful. It's deliberate. Like, oh,
Good stuff. Good stuff.
he's so good. Um, yeah, but he released a new song today called Again. Highly recommend. Um, it's just beautiful. It made me cry. It was perfect for Pisces
Mhm.
season.
Yeah, definitely need to delve
I
into
just love it.
more music. And I mean, when
Yeah.
that Kai album comes out,
Look, I'm turning the fuck up when the album
I
comes out. We have like a week and a half, right?
oh,
Like
I'm just gonna say a week so I, can get through.
just a
We'll
week.
just say a week,
Yeah.
like close enough.
It's the 13th,
Yeah,
right?
like that's like
Okay.
basically a week. Let's just say that.
Here's the thing. Kai's album comes out on the 13th. Then the 14th is Babies in the Sims. Then
Oh,
the 16th is the Growing Together expansion that like goes along
right,
almost directly with
right.
Babies. Then I leave the country the next week on the
Uh huh.
19th. Like, this is a jam-packed time
Yeah, this
for
is an
me.
interesting
I'm
Pisces season
busy.
for you. Um,
There's a lot that I'm looking
I
forward
know.
to
Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing.
for once.
Yeah. I think I sent you on Instagram I think it's literally a post of someone doing the trend about like their ancestors coming to them and being like, "What are you doing?" Do you know that trend I'm talking about?
Yeah.
But it was like
Yes.
actually a positive one. Instead
Mhm.
of one where like your ancestors are dragging you basically. But it was
Yeah.
like really sweet and I was like, man, I think everything released or posted in Pisces season will make me cry.
Probably. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
I'm also
I love it.
ready. I mean, I love Pisces season. I think it's hard for me because I've been so like mm, perfectionist about work.
Mhm.
Um and maybe like seeking too much validation from like doing work or whatever, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Virgo Chiron things.
Yes, indeed.
That it makes me hard to really sit and enjoy it. I think the last time I really did was like when I wasn't in school. So like I was kind
Mhm.
of in a very liminal space in life, but was
Right.
allowing it for once. And it's
Mhm.
just like such a good, I mean my dreams have been absurd and
Mine too.
like just being able to lay and listen to music is so nice during Pisces season. It's like we take it for
Yeah.
granted. But if you have even 10 minutes to do it, it's like so worth it. It's so like good for your inspiration, for the rest of your day.
Absolutely.
And there's so much out there to be inspired by.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like
Mhm.
I think what Pisces season tries to points us to. So I'm gonna try to look at more stuff this week and not just look at fucking uh muscles and bones.
I think my goal for this week coming up is to actually disconnect. Like, I feel like this week I was sitting at my
Mm.
computer desk all day unless I had to work. So I think I'm going to try to like sit outside. It's starting to get warmer. I want to find a physical book on my shelf. I have so many books. This should not be hard, but it's going to be. I want to try to find a physical book to read like outside for even just like 10
Oh
minutes a
yeah,
day. As long as it's not too cold, I'll just go sit on the
that would
back
be
porch and
nice.
read.
Yeah,
I also want to try to journal a little bit more this
yeah,
week. I managed it one time last week, this week that just finished. And I think I would just like to do it like maybe one more time this week coming up.
yeah. I really want to write my goals, but in the way that I know works, where I'm writing. It's almost like I'm writing a fantasy novel of my life
Yeah.
in the future. Um, I need to like get into that kind of inspirational writing again.
Mm-hmm.
I also technically have an astrology Twitter that lasted maybe a month, probably I think less than a month. Um
Mm-hmm.
where I reflected on astrology like a journal and also gave like journal and tarot prompts and I really want to get back into that again. Um, we won't link it until I do it because it's not worth doing it
Okay.
right now. But when we do, I will link it, and I just want to get back into that. I want to be putting something out there, at least my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I think that's us
I think
done.
I think we're done. Thanks for listening to this episode of Two Cups Between. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's Two Cups Between. That's the number two, Cups Between. You can send us any questions you have, or you can email us at the same address, twocupsbetween@gmail.com. And make sure to have a good rest of your week.